two things I've realized recently, now that it's kind of hit 6 months and I've found some sort of rhythm, is that when I do spend time with my daughter, my brain keeps going with ideas, but I need to be more present. I need to slow down and enjoy those moments. And then off the back of that, with those ideas, keep them on a list and then dedicate more time in the evenings. It's going to be temporary for a while, but it will just mean that I can achieve what I want to achieve maybe a little bit sooner while still being really present as a mum during a day. And I think it's just that little sacrifice, whether it's short term or might be long term, might be something I keep doing just out of, passion for what I do, to keep that balance between being a really present, involved mum and taking her and doing fun things, but then also having those exciting ideas come to fruition.
Welcome to Behind the Design, a podcast where we unfold the details behind the designs we know and love and explore how each project comes to life. I am Camilla, owner of Unfolded, an interior design and styling studio. In this podcast series, we dive into the details with our industry experts, covering topics such as the creative process, latest design trends, and how we, as an industry, work together to meet the brief and overcome challenges. Let the conversation begin. Nina, welcome to Behind the Design.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And so we only were introduced to each other recently. I discovered your Instagram and realized that you've got that 70s Bungalow and now Paloma Studios. So should we dive right into how that all began?
Yeah, so we bought our house in Newcastle, originally from Sydney, about nearly 5 years ago now. We've since moved out just recently, but that was our first renovation project. So prior to that, I had no interior renovating experience whatsoever. So quite fresh.
Yeah.
But Dylan, being a carpenter at the time, he's now a builder, he always wanted to renovate a house. And
That's your husband?
yes.
Yeah.
And in Sydney, expensive, right? So that's not an option. We also have a dog, so he needed like a bit of grass. We were looking down in Wollongong originally, but it was like just after the fires, so it was quite smoky. It was just like, maybe this isn't the right place at the moment. I'm sure it's beautiful now, but it just didn't feel quite right. So we're like, let's go have a look in Newcastle. Went to Newcastle and I was like, this is really cool. Really liked.
It's definitely developed up.
Yeah. And because we're from Northern Beaches originally, it has quite a similar feel to it, like very laid back, very casual, coastal. So we had been looking like for 8 months for houses, going up and down every weekend, and eventually found this one place which had the arch bar and it had like green retro wallpaper and it was so funky and cool. Good
Right.
70s. And that's where that 70s bungalow came to be.
Love.
So yeah, that was like nearly 5 years ago now. We like renovated that over the weekends. We kind of took inspiration from that house and like led with that mid-century feel. Although at the time that we moved in, it was very much that trend of like neutrals, arched mirrors. So we do play into that.
It's quite complementary to the existing structure.
Yeah. But then eventually I was like, no, I want to get more mid-century. So yeah, we renovated that for about 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
How big was it? Like how many bedrooms? If you could scale.
4 bedrooms.
Okay.
Ended up being 3.5 bathroom and 2 living rooms because we did an extension. So we added another one in.
It's quite decent size.
It was huge. It was mammoth. It was such a big job. There were some stints where we did renovate full-time. Well, Dylan renovated full-time. He took some time off because I fell pregnant. We were like, we need to get the inside finished. Like we don't want to bring our baby home to like a dusty, unfinished house. Like let's just try smash out the interior part as quick as possible. So we did that and 70s Bungalow, like sharing the renovation journey kind of evolved and grew to what it is. But I think doing that renovation, being Dylan's like secondhand woman, and he always like was like, what should we do here? What should we do? That very like carpentry language, which at the time, initially I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
But I had to learn.
Yeah, and I had to learn it really quickly. And I was working with the design decisions and whatnot. It really like changed my brain chemistry. Suddenly switched over into.
You're saying it rewired.
It rewired it. Yeah, like it just took. I was initially in digital and e-commerce as my role, and obviously fell pregnant and was on maternity leave, and it just shifted me away from that, which I still love, and also gave me, experience for other things like content creation, but shifted me into this where I'm like, this is actually what I love more. And through that page too, there were people asking advice and things, and I was like, I could just do this. Like, I love doing it for myself.
And people want to hear
myself-
about how I've done this, how we've created this.
Exactly, yeah. So,
It's like one of those organic things when something that's a passion project gets interest. Do you know what I mean? I think
Absolutely.
that's how a lot of like entrepreneurs
yeah.
/ creatives / the skill set that you've learned, but it's how it evolves, isn't it? 'Cause
Absolutely.
sometimes people don't anticipate that.
No, exactly. And I think like that's probably the best way to lead into your career is following something that you truly do love. And through that is usually via experience. Like say, for
Physical
example, I
ones,
did a degree in branded fashion and I never really did fashion after that, but it gave me a leeway in here, leeway in there. And I slowly worked into the area that I do want to work in.
And there's so many parallels just on that fashion,
Absolutely.
topic, because fabrics, trends, even though we're going to dive into maybe not being on trend per se, but it does give you insight into the creative world.
Yeah.
It's a different design, but it's still aligned because there's upholstery and all the things that we do in the interior world. Yeah. Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And so this makes so much sense now. The link between the bungalow renovation and your e-commerce background, because your Instagram is savvy.
Thank you.
It is. It is. Like, you're so, I had a thorough look through a lot of your posts and to get to know you and understand the brand and whatnot ahead of this recording. And it made me realize, I'm like, wow, like it's a big thing to go, I'm going to renovate something, but it's also like, how am I going to portray this? How am I going to market this? How am I going to sell this? And not that that was your, correct me if I'm wrong, intention per se.
Share it to friends.
That it evolved. Yeah, you were just sharing a passion that you were currently doing, and then it became something.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And I saw it as like, especially when I did become a mum and all of that kind of career aspect or whatnot was stripped back. I missed it. I missed that ability to create something and to, have a drive and whatnot. And I saw my page as that opportunity as well. And I love storytelling. I love designing. So it was like a mixture of all those things. Dylan told me yesterday, he's like, I think you might have ADHD. And I was like, I don't think I've got ADHD, but I would say maybe a little bit erratic sometimes with fingers in many pots and, designing here, dreaming there, planning here. So it kind of let me be all of that and then evolved into Paloma Studios.
Interesting. And so timeline-wise, so that was 5 years ago now. When did First Bub come?
2023.
You've just got the one?
Yeah.
You've just got one. Okay, so 2023. And then Paloma Studios came off the back of that sort of thing?
Only recently, beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Very fresh.
So it's about 6 months old.
Yeah, 7 months old. Okay, little baby.
So cool. But you probably felt ready, right?
I did.
Yeah, timing-wise.
Yeah, I think someone chatted to me. She said, why don't you start an interiors business? And at first I was like, imposter syndrome and whatnot. But I realized like I have had really amazing experience, especially off the back of a renovation and having someone like Dylan being a builder now, share with me really important inside knowledge. Like I don't think I could build a house myself, but I understand a lot now.
Yeah.
There's so many elements that even if I had done a degree, maybe not have learned those elements. So you only learn it on the job, right? So I just had to back myself.
Degree's technical.
Exactly.
Like there's a bit of technical in there.
Yes.
And you learn the approach.
Yeah.
And sort of how to do it holistically.
Yeah.
And then throw you in there and you're like, sorry.
Oh, different.
We don't want to start.
Yeah.
The builders are asking you things and you're thinking, oh no.
But I was really aware that I hadn't done a degree. So I was doing little courses here and there, learning and reading as much as I could to fill those gaps in. And I'm still, as I go, triple checking everything, second guessing, like making sure that I'm, delivering the best possible outcome to clients, even running things through Dylan, just being like, if you were the builder on site, what do you think of this? And
is this feasible too? Because we love to create.
But is it actually something that can be done? Does it break the bank? Is it, possible? And he'll be like, yeah, this is, and also from the renovation, I feel like I've clicked onto a lot of that too, of like what is possible. So in those initial conversations with a client, if they're like, I'd love to do, something a bit crazy, I'm like, that's a really easy idea, but let's work it back to something that,
We can
and
actually,
in your budget as well.
yes, budget and can be physically built.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so interesting because, I think we would, as designers, we would all have those same conversations on site where you want to acknowledge the client, ensure that they've felt heard.
Yes.
I love your vision. I can see what you're seeing. And this is how we can achieve that.
Yeah.
Not too expensive, sorry, it won't work because of this. And then you just leave them sitting there thinking, so what are we going to do?
Yeah, an alternate solution. Let's make it happen in a way that can be done. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think they really appreciate that because that's one thing, like when I've listened to podcasts and done a lot, I'm 6 years in November. And I'm at that point in the business where you start to learn less about running the business because you're getting more confident with the day-to-days and more about client needs and the personal approach and the more relationship building approach. And I remember hearing on several other different podcasts from really, really highly regarded designers who have been in the industry for like 30 odd years. Just ensure that your client knows that you're listening and that you remember what they want, what they need, because that will keep the rapport.
Absolutely.
It helps that relationship stay strong because they're like, oh, good, yeah. Like even clients sometimes if I'll say, I'll remember, you did mention blah, 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 that you wanted that in the second bedroom or the guest bedroom or guest bathroom or the boys' bedrooms upstairs. And they're like, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, we did talk about that. Like they just...
Because they forget sometimes. It's overwhelming. And if it's not their, it's not their world, it's so easy to forget those little details as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You've got to be on their side. You're like in their pocket for them. Advocate.
Absolutely. With a notepad.
Yeah. You're like, I remember. It's okay. I've got you.
That's it. And how do you find, because it's funny when you talk about ADHD, like I joke with my partner all the time. And just before you arrived, we had a bit of a chat here, the three of us, podcast producer and my partner about ADHD.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of talk where I think people have moments and go, oh, that sounds like me.
Yeah.
I have ADHD. It's like all this self-diagnosis,
yes.
right? And we all have symptoms of, I think that's the best way of putting it. Because when you said, oh, my brain's a bit da-da-da, I'm like that all the time. And I've just accepted it now.
Same. I don't think it is anything, it's just the way we are. Yeah.
And for me, I don't know about you, it's organized chaos. Yes. Like it looks on paper that I'm a bit did it, but I'm like, trust me,
there's a plan up in there. I know what I'm doing. It might not seem like it, but I do.
Everything's really clear. Yeah. No, my face is chaos.
I might be jumping here, there, and there, not finishing, the washing up or whatever, but it's all there.
That's it. That's it. And sometimes I think as a creative, because you're so inspired all the time.
I'm like latching onto
ideas. And you can't let that go. You've got to explore it.
Yeah.
My lists as well. Like my mum used to joke because my reminders, do you use Apple reminders? Yeah. My God. Mine's I think at 33, 34. We're heading off for a holiday on Saturday. And it's the first time that I'm like, I don't want to do anything overseas. And I've now got an assistant.
Yep.
And I've said to her, can you jump on every day and just check everything? Because I just want to be off.
Yeah.
And it's so rare that I'm off. And so my reminders are long because I want to make sure I get everything done ahead of that holiday. But then I feel better. So it could look like chaos.
Yes.
And back to the mum thing. Mum said to me one time, because I was standing with her and 2 reminders went off. And she's like, let me guess, brush your teeth, pack your lunch. Like as in every step of my day needs a reminder.
Stop it. This is so funny.
I was like, it's kind of true.
I was saying to Dylan last night, I was like, I want to work out every little thing I want to achieve in a week. I'm going to put in ChatGPT and he's going to make me a full hour by hour schedule. And I'm going to put it in my phone. We're going to share the ones that like relate to us.
Yes, he needs to know.
And my week will be sorted. I won't have to think.
Amazing.
But then I can achieve everything, right?
But you know what? It gets it out of your head.
Yeah.
Like, is that not like a staple rule that we've always been told? Yeah. Write it down.
Yeah.
Like journaling.
And my list is too long that I just need a notification to just go, okay, now you do this.
That's it.
Now you go to the gym. Now you brainstorm and do your content.
Stay across it all.
Yeah.
That's so true. I don't know if it's just women's brains, but
we juggle a lot.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got a kid now and it's normal.
Yeah.
And so let's dive into, Paloma Studios is now up and running, 6-7 months in.
Yes.
When we spoke originally about, what we wanted to talk about in the podcast, it was a lot of emotions were used around how you explore your designs with your clients and maybe also with that 70s bungalow.
Yeah.
Bold colors, feelings over trends, all that type of thing. Walk into the space, making it feel homely. Was that all something that for you discovered along the way with that 70s bungalow and thought, you know what, I'm really going to take that into this Paloma Studios now?
Yeah.
Or because for me, when you said feelings over trends, I'm like, I live by that. I just think trends are not timeless.
Yep.
And people can design a large home as per Inside Out magazine.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, they're like, oh, I don't really love it.
Doesn't
It
feel like
looks
me.
good.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like me. So, yeah, tell me a bit more about that approach.
Yeah, well, I suppose initially when we did start that renovation, I had this itch of wanting to do the classic neutral house. And neutrals are still obviously so prominent. We love neutrals. But I just had this idea of I wanted to fit in that box. I wanted to, do the white bathroom with the arched mirrors like I see on Pinterest. And so I did that because I didn't have any experience. I wanted to, do something that people were going to love, and it does resell well. But then as
Versatile.
yeah, like really versatile.
Something, a bit of character as well.
Yeah. But I think as the years went on and my style evolved and my confidence grew, I didn't feel like it was me that much. I knew I wanted a little bit more. So I started playing around with things like colors and tiles and lime washes and things like that. And I still think our first project was fairly safe. I probably brought more color in styling wise. But it's not until we're now in project 2, we're just in the design phase or early design phase with the architects, that I'm really wanting to explore color and push boundaries and add details and texture. So I've kind of identified the feeling that I want to feel in this place, even though we will be reselling it. I do have to keep that in mind.
Yeah,
that
take the personal attachment.
Oh no, I'm like, it has to still resell well. But then applying that, I suppose, when clients come to me for their projects, like, how do you want to live and feel in this space? What is it designed for? For example, there was a client who has 2 living rooms. One was upstairs, one was downstairs. She really wanted the upstairs to feel like a cozy nook that she could pop on the couch. Her husband's cooking dinner. She can play music. There's no TV in there.
Like a Zola.
Yeah, she loves mid-century. She wanted color and richness and just a little sanctuary, really. Whereas the downstairs one could be a little bit more fun because it was the media room. It just had a whole different, I suppose, intention to it. Yeah, so identifying that and then obviously working through her Pinterest board and enmeshing the two together. Like, how can we create the feel that you want with the, the look, which I loved when she sent me a Pinterest. I was like, yes, this is like my colorful mid-century dream come to life.
And you were saying you love problem solving.
Yes.
Which, it sounds like that's a perfect example of like, I'm going to blend these two. And her sitting there looking at you wide-eyed, how do I do it? And it's up to you now to problem solve.
Yeah.
Yes. And make look good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, obviously being 6 months in, I probably are spending longer on projects because I really want to finesse it and make it, as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you're learning so much in those first,
So much.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my philosophy behind it is, identifying that feeling, what they want to, how they want to use the space, and then creating a home that feels like them, that they're not just doing because they've seen it online and they want to recreate what's latest in fashion and in interiors. Make it, long-standing for what feels like them, what connects with their soul, and bringing, like, I guess, who they are to life so that they, they feel at peace there.
And so in that brief then, how did you achieve that? Is it still in motion at the moment?
No, that one's completed.
Okay.
So she had a really clear Pinterest board, so that helped define it. But just through conversation, going over for site visits, getting a feel for her personality as well. We bounced through different ideas. I'm quite a visual person, so again, because I haven't done that formal degree, I've adapted my own process and I go to the mock-up on Photoshop first. I like to see a space because I find Photoshop quite easy, and quick for me to use, so I can pop in different elements and then she can give me, or they, different clients give me feedback and we can quickly change it while visualizing what the end result will be versus, I guess, maybe going for a flat lay first, because I myself, if I look at a flat lay, it doesn't tell me a whole lot what the end will look like. I just need to see it in a big picture. So we did that from the beginning, playing with different elements, sourcing, because there were those colorful elements, finding the right couch, the right rug, the right,
what colors, how they all go together.
Yeah. So we explored a few options until it felt right for her. And then we really like narrowed down on, the final pieces, which was really fun.
And when you say sanctuary upstairs, it makes me think like, what kind of lighting was up there?
It's
Lighting gives so much emotion, doesn't it?
Yeah. It didn't get as much direct light. It kind of came from the side, but it had beautiful pitched, like a raked ceiling, really tall ceilings. And it's not in her initial plan to paint the interiors, but eventually she will. So we've opted for like a really warm white to kind of, even though we're not copying direct, like bring that golden feel in. But she's surrounded by trees. It's just such a beautiful home.
Tranquil.
It's very mid-century,
Yeah.
but it had been whitewashed, and she wanted to bring that soul back in, that character back in.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I was like, these are the best bones. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And I guess it's good because it gives you that sort of canvas to work on, and she's loving your stuff.
Yes.
So it's just bringing all that
It
together.
was a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
She's a legend.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so how do you find then being a mum of one, partner to a builder, now doing this full time, Paloma Studios? Okay. And how do you find the juggle? Like, is it?
Gosh. It's a lot. Like, it's a big juggle. And I think as well, even though it's my, full-time job, I'm still part-time days, part-time hours.
Yeah.
So Dylan being, I guess, on site most of the time, I'm there as the primary parent. So there's a lot of juggling between my allocated work days to having our daughter home. So there is a bit of a juggle, I guess, like in this early phase. And it's just me. I don't have a team. I'm working, in and out breaks, at night sometimes. So finding like a balance between that, having, couple time watching Netflix and things like that.
Yeah.
And
Downtime.
staying home. There's a lot of juggling,
Yeah.
but I kind of love it. As Dylan was saying, like wondering if I did have ADHD. It's because I'm like word vomiting to him all my ideas, and he's just like, "Wow, like good on you, girl." But there's a lot happening in your world, like. But I think you have to love it to make it work, to juggle a lot of elements, and I think a lot of mums probably find that too.
Yeah.
Is they're juggling a lot.
Yeah. Definitely. It's interesting today for series 7 of Behind the Design. We have 3 women who are all mums.
Yeah.
You're one of them. And then a couple on at the end of the day who also have 2 kids. So in all the lead up of having the conversations with you all ahead of today, there's always that conversation of how do you manage the juggle? And I think there's no formula to it. And that's why I love asking everybody.
Yeah.
Because I just think the way you do it, someone might hear that and go, yeah, true, that's really important. I should prioritize that. Or I did it the other way, but maybe I'll try this. And I think having those conversations is really good
Yeah.
while running a business and all the things that come with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there is a lot to it.
2 things I've realized recently, now that it's kind of hit 6 months and I've found some sort of rhythm, is that when I do spend time with my daughter, my brain keeps going with ideas, but I need to be more present. I need to slow down and enjoy those moments. And then off the back of that, with those ideas, keep them on a list and then dedicate more time in the evenings. It's going to be temporary for a while, but it will just mean that I can achieve what I want to achieve maybe a little bit sooner while still being really present as a mum during the day. And I think it's just that little sacrifice, whether it's short term or might be long term, might be something I keep doing just out of, passion for what I do. To keep that balance between being a really present, involved mum and taking her and doing fun things, but then also having those exciting ideas come to fruition.
Yeah, which probably fills up your cup.
It does.
Yeah, I'm the same. And so you briefly, I noticed that you sort of brushed over imposter syndrome about 10 minutes ago. Can we unpack that? What came up for you? When did it start? Because I think, again, this experience is different for everybody.
When you just said that, it kind of reminded me of something. So I have this page now, which I've been running for nearly 5 years. And I think initially I had imposter syndrome with that, thinking, who am I? Like, I'm sharing my face to the camera. Like, it feels icky. Like, it feels, well, I think at the beginning I was like, who cares?
Okay.
It's a whole different account. It's not my personal one. No one really knows.
It's not a reflection of me personally. It's my work.
I kind of lied behind it.
Yeah.
But then I saw creators putting their face to the camera and I was like, I really like engaging with them. Maybe I should start, dabbling in it too. But it felt kind of funny at first. So there was definitely that like kind of hump that I had to get over of imposter syndrome where I would use filters on my face a lot, or feel like I have to talk a certain way, or not post things that felt a bit messy or whatnot. But I came to realize, who cares? Like, I actually like seeing that authenticness from other people. I need to just
It receives well,
and then
isn't
I
it?
don't have to worry. I just sort of let that element go of, if people didn't want to be here, they won't be. But if there's people who do want to be here, like, join the party, and I'll just be my chaotic, erratic self.
Creative self.
Creative. Yeah, very put together. Totally. But so then, through wanting to, start interior design, initially when my friend said, hey, why don't you do this? I was like, oh my gosh, like, I've never thought to be someone to have my own business. It felt like I would just work for someone else. And then, but I was in maternity leave, and I thought I could either go back to working for someone else, or maybe I should try this and just see what happens. Like, what if I got to lose? So there was just like that devil and angel on my shoulder of, just give it a go. What have you got to lose? You've gotten through that hump of imposter syndrome. You can do it now. But also the side of, you haven't done a degree, what do you know?
Yeah, right.
That was the main thing. And I still,
like, you're not worthy of it if you haven't.
Exactly. But I think
Makes so much sense.
I remind myself that even though I did a brand of fashion degree, I didn't do anything in fashion after that. I worked in a bridal store. I was their store manager, worked on their website and social media, which kind of gave me experience for my page. Then I went into digital and e-commerce, and then now I'm in interior design. But all of those things were self-taught.
Wow.
So I just said, like, just believe in yourself, because you've made it this far. You can do it again. You just have to be, like, confident in yourself, determined, driven, and, like, trying to do your best, always trying to improve yourself, always learn. So I'm hoping that all goes to plan. But it's yeah, I think it's something that a lot of people would experience, and you wouldn't realize that everyone probably has to learn from something, and that they all go through imposter syndrome in some form or another.
Yeah.
It probably makes us human too, because if we didn't have any form of that, we'd probably just be arrogant.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, I deserve to be here kind of energy.
And
It's
then
like,
probably not working.
or a bit entitled too.
Yeah, then you're not working towards, your client's best interest or your best interest too.
Yeah, it kind of trickles into everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so fascinating, because I had a conversation, probably a month ago now, and with someone in my circle who's quite adamant around, if you haven't studied, you're not really a true qualified A, B, or C, right? And I thought, that's really interesting. I mean, I did do my degree.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would tick that box in that person's world. But I've got a lot of people around me who have not done the degree or the diploma or the qualification, let's call it, similar to what you've just said, who still deserve to share what they want to share. And I think it's coming back to, if clients know that that's your offering, no, look, I'm going to be transparent with you. I don't have a degree, but we're here.
Yeah,
So join the journey,
Yeah.
or it's okay if you don't want to.
absolutely.
But if they know and you're honest, then, like, you're not doing anything wrong,
No.
so there's no reason why we should feel shamed about that. Which can also lead to, as you say, imposter syndrome. So it all kind of connects, doesn't it? But I think in this day and age, like, if you think of coaches out there, or there's lots of different self-taught from experience that you're saying. And I know a lot of other designers who may have not even finished at TAFE, and they're killing it.
I think as long as you have the drive, you've got experience, which helps as well. I mean, that might not come to everyone, but if you do have the opportunity for experience, you're going to learn so much on hand. But also just being creative. I think having that creative brain too, like, you have your vision, voice,
Yeah.
and you can't learn. Well, sometimes you can't learn it. You know what I mean? And it just, everyone has a unique style, and you don't have to have a degree to have your unique style too.
Totally.
As long as,
Like, creative flair.
Yeah.
A lot of people who say, I just don't have that creative flair.
I think everyone has a creative flair, though, deep down in their own form and capacity.
That's personal.
It is. It is.
And that's what we get out of them,
Yeah.
right? To achieve, the project that they're on, or
Yeah.
to get to help them achieve what they want to get out of it.
Absolutely.
That's kind of what where they're told their hand, or like say we're in our front
They
pocket.
have the seed of the, creative flair.
Yeah.
And then we're there to expand it for them, go, this is what you're, like the path that you're on. Like, this is the style that you can go with, but maybe they just haven't had that experience prior or the confidence to kind of go into it, and we can help them, into that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so with all the colors, because if you look at your Instagram feed, there's a lot of color and there's a lot of, but it's not just color. It's so deliberately put together, like so well put. Yeah, it's just beautiful because I'm, as we spoke about, I'm not a rainbow gal. I do try. But fortunately, my assistant now, she's more your kind of style / YSG
Yeah.
studio. Yeah, she's obsessed. And so she's always like, okay, maybe here we could add some green. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And, I do inject color.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm a bit like, okay, get comfortable with it. And like you say, the neutrality of design is very timeless. But from what I can see with the way that you put things together, it's still got a timelessness to it. So what inspires, for example, like a burgundy red sofa with an orange rug or however it might go? Like, do you spend a lot of time, or do you find that that's really natural to pull together?
So that was from a series I'm trying to do once a week, like the one brand edit. And it's
Saw that.
my way of
The Supplier?
Yeah. So one
So
brand,
cool.
one supplier. It's my way to build, I guess, a portfolio, but also test myself in different design, like combinations, like colors. So for that one, for example, I think I came across the couch first, and I do use Pinterest a lot for like color combinations, and I have had one in the back of my mind, but I found the couch, was scrolling through the rest of the website, and I saw that orange rug with like a little blue trim, and I was like, that would look amazing together. So I think there's a lot of playfulness with it and not taking the design too seriously, because this one was just for fun as well.
Yeah.
But kind of balancing the tones in a way that doesn't feel jarring, but it's definitely very bold still. And layering in pieces, and then that contrast of the blue in there to just like freshen it up a bit. So
Yeah.
I don't know, sometimes it's just like that playfulness. I'm just going through and picking things, taking things out, seeing what works, and then referencing a color palette on Pinterest if I need to. But yeah, for the most part, it's just having fun with it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And see, even that, like, it just goes to show that not anyone could do that, but you have the idea to do that. And someone might see the color palette on Pinterest, for example, and then go, I like that, full stop.
Yeah.
But you're like, cool, now that I know you like that, this is what we can create.
Absolutely.
And that's a skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. And so we spoke earlier about your curtain collaboration with 5-minute blinds.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about how that's come about and where you're headed?
Yeah. So I had a phone call with the beautiful Jane at 5-minute blinds a couple of months ago, because we are really keen to work with them on our next project anyway. And then I've recently just gone to a event, like a home show event, where they sponsored part of the backdrop. So we styled the backdrop in collaboration with Shanice from Oakbank Reno. So we both styled the stage with beautiful James Lane pieces, the curtains from 5-minute blinds, and just meeting them in person was such a nice way to connect with them on a deeper level too. And I think it's really important with brands in the industry. But on top of that, we were talking about potentially doing a colourful, maybe patterned, limited edition range together. So Shanice already has a lovely neutral, it's not limited release, it's like an ongoing collection with them with linen shears. And now she wants to try something a little bit more bold. So that's going to be a little bit fun to explore, a more colourful range, some maybe different tones and patterns that we would see normally. And yeah, see what happens. It's still very early stages, but I'm excited to start designing that and seeing what happens and popping it in our project as well.
That's so cool. And so, it's interesting because some people would think 5-minute blinds, it's just blinds, but rarely are they ever just blinds, right? They do absolutely everything.
They do.
And I remember when you and I spoke about it, I thought, oh, that's so interesting, because I know that when I look at certain projects that have like ink blue curtains because they need a block out in the living room because of the light or whatever it might be. I'm like, oh, that's stunning. But you tend to gravitate because most clients do only know bone, beige, off-white, warm white colored curtains in different textures. There's a bit of a formula to it. And it's like, why not explore pattern, colors? The bit Kelly Westler.
Yeah, isn't it? It is. Gosh, very well. Another big inspo.
Oh, she's divine.
I think the challenge will be making it colorful and fun, but also approachable to
Sellable.
bigger market as well. Because I think when you start working with color and especially pattern, you might go, sweet, I do want a red curtain. Not that we would do red, but I do want to.
I mean, in the right environment.
Yeah. I do want an orange curtain, but not that orange or not that blue. So it will be fine-tuned where it's like, let's find colors that will suit a lot of different clients.
Yeah, and spaces.
Yeah.
Because the best thing about it is you're not just exploring residential, right? This could be used commercial, hospitality, retail, change rooms, like, they do change room curtains. So many.
Didn't even think of that.
Thank you. Well, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
And kudos to you about talking about collaboration with suppliers because honestly, I think it is underestimated how important that is. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Because I know that the more that I've built relationships and for collaboration reasons, yes, like the ideas that come from it. Even we've got an initial conversation with a sponsor for the podcast and they're a supplier and someone I would have not thought would be as interested as they are. And now that we're unpacking what we can do, I'm like, world's your oyster.
It really is.
That relationship was created and now there's trust that's been built and you're both on the same team. You've got the brief. What are we going to achieve here? Like that sounds like a similar thing for you. And it's so important for us to have those relationships with our suppliers.
And also just like on, I guess a personal level too, like you would be very entrepreneurial. They would be entrepreneurial. We're entrepreneurial. And I think working together, big ideas. Like that weekend was just big ideas floating around and you leave it just feeling your cup is so full. You're just ready to just jump into work. But also like having that connection with someone that would otherwise just be over email. Like it just takes what you do as a career, as a job to another level and you really respect those people. You want what's best for them. You want to bring work to them. You want people to, shout from the rooftops about how good they are. So it has become such an important part of not only my page, but also interiors too, as I start liaising with those brands directly that I wouldn't otherwise maybe speak to.
Yes.
We were even thinking at the end of our like renovation project too, which we're going to start having like a big party with everyone who's ever been involved. We did one last time, but this time I'm just like fly in, let's just meet up.
I love that idea.
Because the 5-minute blind team were chatting and saying how lovely it was to go to say expos or different events. And I was like, this could be the perfect opportunity where we connect with another brand and, either do something together or just brainstorm and have a chat and build a connection. So I'm excited.
No, that's
like keep it posted.
Yeah, keep me posted. Oh, that sounds so good. And it's so interesting you say that because with the podcast, similarly, it's an extension of your brand to do something like that. Because you're not only saying, let's celebrate the latest project, for example, you're saying, let's bring everyone together because we're all like-minded souls who are all, inspired by something, creatives in our own right, and we've all helped to achieve this, one project, for example. I'm similar like that with the podcast, and that's why I do a little drinks catch up at the end of the day, because I know that everyone I host that day would want to know those other guests. But because you're all ships in the night with the recording, but it's a classic case of that's that collaboration piece because you don't know who might meet who, and then that's going to evolve into another collaboration. And it's like we're all industry, we're all here to support each other. And I was thinking as well with the 5-minute blinds, it just made me think how beautiful that your clients or potential clients who are yet to engage with you can see, I see what she's doing there, what she's creating there, and I want to be a part of it. And it's that trust in you've got good relationships with your suppliers that give our clients the confidence to work with us.
Absolutely.
We're not just aloof, running around chatting to whoever's available.
Yeah.
You're like, I know that 5 Minute Blinds will deliver
Absolutely.
for your project, whether you pick my custom range or not.
Yeah. I don't mind.
Yeah. I love the blue. Should go the blue. But it's that trust.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
so
that's what they
important.
come to you for as an interior designer is they want that trust. They want that recommendation. They want you to do the hard lifting in that sense of like, you know the people, you know
I'll leave it to you.
high quality and going to deliver on time. I'll leave that to you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally. And that's the responsibility piece for us, which you don't learn at uni anyway. So don't worry. No one teaches you that. That just takes probably adulting and maturity,
Assertiveness and
growth.
yeah, growth. Yep.
All the big, beautiful words.
Yes.
And so tell me a little bit about your one-on-one consultations. So have you started doing those, or is that something that you're wanting to grow? Or
Recently
do
started.
both?
Yeah, recently started. So I did see an opportunity that there are people who maybe aren't ready to jump into a full interior design service, getting, someone in to redesign everything. But
Absolutely.
they want to do it
It can be a bit
themselves.
daunting too. Yeah.
They want to do it themselves, but they just have a lot of questions, a few unknowns, and they need a second pair of eyes.
Bit of clarity.
Yeah. So that's been a really fun process to begin with. I went down recently to this beautiful lady down in Central Coast. Are you? Yeah, I'm terrible. So went down there and we walked through her entire place, looking at all the different things that she wanted to change and do, giving her ideas.
So it's an in-person.
It's an in-person. Or virtual too.
In-person's ideal.
Yeah, in-person's great.
Especially if the space is built. Right. Otherwise, we're just looking at plans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then at the end, made like a summary of all the notes that we ever talked about, a little mood board as well. And she was like, thank you so much. Like just having the clarity on something, it re-inspired her to get started, where to start as well. And I was so inspired after it too. I was driving home, like all these ideas in my head. And it was just like, this is such a fun way to spend your time because often you're, hiding behind a desk.
Yeah.
And getting out. And
a lot of admin.
Yeah, a lot of admin. And getting out and just throwing ideas around, those creative juices are flowing. It was really beautiful. So yeah, definitely a service that I'd love to, spend a lot of time doing because it inspires me back as well.
And it's nice, like when I hear you talk about, the ideas, and sometimes it's hard because with a consultation, whether that person goes ahead for whatever reason or they don't, you kind of have to cap. You drive home with all the ideas, but you've kind of given the service and you're thinking, oh, now I just want to move forward with the projects. I have so many ideas, or I want to help this person achieve A, B, and C. But yeah, I think it's such a nice taste tester as well, because not only we do that as a part of our service as well. And I think a lot of clients might have a bit of a budget to engage with you in the early stages, and then they may not call you for a year.
Yep.
So you've got to put your best foot forward no matter what, even at that consult, because it may or may not go somewhere. But if you imagine it will, how do I want to show up?
Yeah.
What do I want to offer this person or this couple or family? Because they'll remember. And then you'll be front of mind.
You're building that emotional connection with them already.
Absolutely.
And then you're also giving them value up front.
Yeah.
And those two can, triple down. And eventually if they are ready to take on, a full service package, then your best foot is put forward, hopefully, and they go with you.
Your mood board's still on their mind.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so how do you structure that? Do you just do, as you say, mini mood board? It's sort of a couple of pages or just
depending on what the space is. It could just be like the last client was a full house versus maybe, a few rooms. So it just depends. It's very fluid, whatever they need. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
And so if you look back now on little Nina at school even, what would you tell your younger self, given everything you've learnt to date, all the experience that you've built without the study? What would be like
I think have confidence in yourself that you don't have to have it all figured out, but you can always give everything a go. And that there's no one passion, there's no one perfect I guess, outcome for you. I remember I went to, I think, a career counselor like in high school.
Interesting.
Because I felt so lost. I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
That's good they offered that.
Yeah, I think it was external to the school, but I just went there at the time and they did this, test on my strengths and abilities. But I think it's such a common thing when you're that age, you really don't know what you're doing and you have this immense pressure. Like, as soon as I graduate, I've got to figure it out. But I'm turning 30 this year, so that's like over 10 years where, I've lived my life, I've tried different things, and I've just started something that I think will be a long-term career. But it doesn't need to be all figured out from the beginning. You got to learn, you got to explore and just grow that confidence naturally in what you're doing. And if you don't feel confident, that's okay. You're just having fun with life. Go travel a little bit and test different roles out, put your foot forward. You don't have to have the experience. You can just go start a new role, start small. They might just want to intake you at a junior level and work your way up. And if you feel like you need to shift in a different path, shift in a different path. I think just back yourself. Pivot. Yeah.
Pivot where you need. Yeah, it is interesting you say that. And that's, it's really beautiful. I loved hearing that. And it reminds me of a lot of graduates who are reaching out to work with us. And I get, sent to the info ad email and I get it probably a couple a month. So it's pretty frequent.
Yeah.
And I'd love to take them all under my wings and have them all come on board. But it's exactly as you say, sometimes you've got to start small, and it's challenging for a small business to take on those roles because the skill set hasn't been grown enough yet to have them come on. You've got to sort of hold their hand quite a bit. Whereas in a big design firm, they might start by literally being in the office, getting coffees.
You just need to be put in front of the situations and absorb it all. You might not be doing the heavy lifting.
No.
You're learning a lot. Yeah. You're taking it all in and getting an idea for how that,
bit of basic CAD just to start.
Yep.
I know. And I think it's a really good reminder for that generation, that next generation it's not all glam at the start.
And, you don't just finish school and hop into your dream career.
You're not suited up then.
You've got to kind of work your way up and sacrifice a bit too.
And create relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the amount of people I find that will pop up out of nowhere, meaning I haven't spoken to them for 7 years and they're like, I've been following what you're doing. I love this. Hey, I want to call you and get you on this job, blah, blah, blah. And you're thinking, I would never have thought I'd hear from that person again, even though it was always fine.
Yeah.
But you forget the impression you also made. So that's why, as you say, starting small and just putting your best foot forward, you don't know when that might come back in a really fulfilling and successful way.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what would be then, as someone who's renovated an entire home and has had the brand success, let's call it, on Instagram, with all of your e-commerce and the confidence that you show and the transparency, what would be your biggest tip to renovators or to potential clients about your journey, what you've learned and what you've achieved?
I would say my biggest tip, if you're new to renovations or, new builds and you're looking at starting your design and you're not sure where to begin, is start going through your Pinterest and identifying like what calls to you, how even looking at your own personal style can help that too. Look at the kind of textures, colors that you're liking, and you don't have to go towards an exact trend. You can lean more into your unique personality and just fine tune that. Maybe have someone that is more creative. It doesn't have to be a designer. They could just be a second pair of eyes, a friend who loves watching the block.
Everybody.
Yeah, to have a look over it and give you some tips, but leaning into what feels more like you. And I also think a big theme, this is something I learned, was that I wanted too many different styles in my house. When I started, it was there was a little bit of mid-century, but there was that coastal modern. And then I moved away from that and more into the mid-century feel. And in hindsight, I wished I'd maybe designed everything at the one time to keep that consistency. So I guess a big tip would be, if you're looking at a full reno or looking at a new build and you're new to this, make one big mood board that will cover your entire house, and then pull apart sections that you want for each space so that it's from the same story Or let's say they're not from different countries. The rooms are not from different countries. They're just different cities or suburbs within the same country. They can have its own flavor, but they're not like, okay, I'm, Bali here and
Yeah.
Sweden here.
Yes. Yeah. Norwegian.
Yeah.
Norwegian home over here. And,
Yeah.
a villa over on your right.
Yeah.
I love that. Because it makes me think as well, with our mood boards, we do exactly that. And it's funny because I think the average potential client or customer thinks, okay, cool, I'm going to get a mood board from my designer, right? And yes, you will, but it's not just pretty pictures. It's room by room. Because how is that guest bathroom going to relate to the guest bedroom, or the master ensuite to the master bedroom, to the walk-in robe?
Yeah.
And it's like you say, you can kind of sometimes hone in too much on the one thing, but how does that then spread out to the
story throughout the rest of the house?
Create that cohesion. Yeah, that's a great tip. So, Nina, we're going to wrap up with a final question, a bit of a fun one, but I thought could be kind of cool off the back of our conversation about how much we document our lives. So, if we opened your notes app right now, so your notes app on your iPhone, what's the strangest thing we'd find?
So a few years ago, actually before we bought our house, I went through a bit of like a hippie era. I love it. Hippie spiritual era.
Yeah.
And I would like listen to podcasts on my way to work about, I don't know, just traditional Chinese herbal medicine, past lives, zodiacs, tarot, like there was a whole different person. Yeah, I was a whole different person. My partner was like, well, I'm glad that person's in the past. It got really intense. Anyway, so I would be listening to these podcasts on my way, and because you're driving, you can't make notes, but I was like, I want to remember all this. So I'd always be like, hey Siri, make a note of this, and I would be relaying like top tips that these like really spiritual, really different podcasts would make. So anyway, I haven't read them since, but they're all there.
They're all there. Is this now a prompt for you to go back and have a read?
Maybe.
Well, thank you for coming on. Just to wrap up, where can people find you?
So you can find me at that 70s Bungalow, which is my renovating account, and then Paloma Studios, which is my interior.
Beautiful. And both on Instagram?
Yes.
Yes. And the handle is just that 70s Bungalow.
Yeah.
And Paloma Studios.
Yes.
Beautiful.
A few little dots and dashes, but yeah.
It'll come up.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Behind the Design. We've created this podcast to bring people together, inspire new ideas, and foster a deeper understanding of what goes on behind the design. If you don't want to miss the next episode, hit the follow button on whatever platform you listen to your podcast. Until next time, keep creating and stay inspired.